wherever you are. I'm just getting everything. Oh, it looks quite dull, that. Blimey, 1 like already. Marvellous. Raucous is always good for Saints #1. As always, we'll do the intro once everyone starts to get their feet under the table. Welcome to everyone so far. I've got a bit of an announcement, really, which I'm not sure whether to make it or not tonight on this live. It's not really an announcement as such, but it's interesting. It's very, 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 very interesting. Andy Turner, evening, sexy whaman. Paulie, blimey, I nearly changed your sex there, Paulie. Paulie Galtieri, good evening, you wrongin'. Pound Shop Tracy, evening, lover. Chris Mundy, oi, make the announcement, you tease. All right, will do. Vivian Kenyon, hello, Adrian. Looking good, kid. Viv, thank you very much, Viv. To Mad Matt, UK 123. Hi, Adrian. Hope you and Mrs. Allen are well. Love the shirt. Oh, you're very kind. It's green. It's me colour. Dame Anna, are you pregnant? I could be. Definitely. God blimey, imagine the money I could make if I was. From Leeds, evening, Adrian, up the tune. Ah, you're wrong. Behave. Did you win today? Yesterday? I think you did. 2-1. Hi, Adrian. Just as Wakes is kicking off. What's kicking off? Samantha Askey, good evening, Adrian. I'm looking forward to your output. Thank you. Oh, you're very kind, Samantha. Very kind. Phil Sumner, evening, you lovely wrong-uns. You missed the S off, Phil. Loving all your videos and appreciate your hard work. That's very kind of you, Phil. Thank you. So, just in case anybody wonders what I do on a Sunday. You see, when you do a late night phone-in, basically you've got to know everything. So, Kevin Iverson, good to have you on board, Kevin. Evening, you're wrongin'. Anita James, hi, Adrian. How ya doing? That was a great song by Kenny G. Was it Kenny G? Hi, how you doing? Kenny G and... Oh... I think it was Kenny G. Pink Roses. Wales. Oh, is it kicking off in Wales? The rugby. Norman Taylor, Newcastle 8-0. Behave. Are they? Oh, the poor blades. Hang on. Leeds won yesterday. Newcastle beat Sheffield United 8-0 today. Oi, 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 oi. Hang on to Justin Trudeau squares up to India over Sikh activists' murder. They're all trying to kick off, aren't they? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about stuff. So, yeah. So, late night phone-in. You have to know what's going on every single day. So, every single day, I would spend probably about 5 or 6 hours at home just going through the papers, just reading it all, digesting it, so that when you get on air on a late night phone-in and somebody fancies a joust, you know what you're talking about. So, today, I figured there would be some brand stuff in there, and you bet your sweet Bibby, there was. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you there. So, just getting myself... hopefully we'll get up to 100 before we start. Pink Roses just scored. Come on, Cymru. Lauren Taylor at L. Hello, Mott. Lauren? Have you been on the cooking sherry? What on earth is that? Hello, Mott. It's not Georgie, I don't think. Paulie Galtieri. Windy out tonight. Bless you. So that's having done late night phoning since 1989. You just read all the newspapers, and I read them today, and it's, I don't know about you, but and I said this a couple of weeks ago on one of the lives, that it feels a bit weird at the moment. And I don't know whether, I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but I don't know whether the political classes are so close to their end game, which is Agenda 2030, maybe, that they're just getting lax and slack about stuff. But right, ha ha ha. No, not yet. Not being on the cooking sherry, Lauren. The Leeds United supporters will understand. Well, the problem is I'm a Sunderland supporter. 1973, Lauren. That might start it. Leeds marching on together. All Leeds, aren't we? Marching on together. Actually, my favourite memory from working for Air FM in Leeds, I did drive for, God's best part of a year in Leeds, was I had, sounds like I'm name dropping, but I'm not. I actually did a live programme from the Headland in Leeds with the mayoress at the time. Well, not just the mayoress, I interviewed her on air. But Take That, who'd never had a top 40 hit at this point. Literally, I did this thing with him, and I'll tell you this story before we get into it. But Take That were just trying to break through in the 90s, and all of them came to do this interview with me. They obviously did whatever song they were releasing at about that time, and it went into the top 40 a couple of weeks later and just went boom. Let's take that. I mean, they're still at it, so to speak. And so Paul James, Alex Bellend must be climbing his cell walls with all the gossip flying around. Yeah, probably. Or climbing into somebody else's bunk. So Take That were on stage, did their song, and they came to me to do an interview after they did their song. And I have never, I mean, I don't frighten easily, but way, all these like 13, 14, almost prepubescent females stormed the stage. Oh God, I've lost my pen, my comfort blanket. Hang on, I can't see what it is. So all these prepubescent females just stormed the stage. Robbie, so I was interviewing Robbie and Gary, and I think, well, there was one other there. I can't remember which one it was, because the look of fear in his eyes is like 1,000 prepubescent females wanted to get hold of them. And honestly, the lads were really, really scared. They had to get off stage, and I'm standing there with a microphone in my hand, trying to conduct some semblance of normality live on the radio, while all these, they were screaming, it was going nuts. The mayoress, it was raining a little bit, so the mayoress was sort of holding an umbrella over me while I did this, and Take That legged it. Just one of my best memories. Just my best memories. But that was very scary. I mean, these girls just still in their school uniform. They'd left school. This was, I don't know, I was doing drive, so probably being about 4, 5 o'clock-ish. And they just wanted to rip them apart for whatever reason. Leeds, was that around 1991? Yeah. Where was I 91? Hang on a second. I was at TFM and then I left. I was at Rock FM. 92. 91, 92. Keith James, did you audition for them? Does it look like it, Keith? You're wrong. The Saints number 1 probably screaming for you, Adrian. Oh, the Saints number 1, you're far too kind. I wish they were. There was hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. I mean, the word must have gone around the school. Take that, Headland. Get there. Pink Roses. Apparently, Alex is now stalking from prison through writing letters. Didn't think the prison allowed that. Well, we're going to talk about that. I don't know whether it was you, Pink Roses, or certainly Emma L. passed a comment on one of the videos. Toka69, welcome, young sir. Nick, evening, Adrian. How's married life, mate? Hope you and your lovely lady are well. Yeah, she's avoiding me. I'm joking. So I want to start with the Jacobite. So, Adrian, if there was an election tomorrow, who would you vote for? I'd vote for an independent. The Jacobite. This bunch of clowns that are just thieving money. I mean, they're not even hiding it now. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. HS2, High Speed 2. I'm going to talk about that because you wonder why. Oh, we're going to cancel it. We're going to cancel this and we're going to cancel that. Why do you think that is? The Jacobite? Do you think it's going to be May for the next general election? Andy Turner, you cheeky tart. Adrian has a face for radio only. You're too kind. It's the only one I've got. It's the only fizzog. I might not be Brad Pitt, but I'm somebody's Brad Pitt. Let me tell you. She said yes. Yes to the dress. Sarah Ann, plain existence. Hello from Pontypool. Oh, Sarah Ann, don't. I loved my time in South Wales. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It was the best fun I could have with me clothes on in South Wales. Doing radio, doing the late night phoning. Just loved it, man. Good to have you on board, Sarah Ann. Kevin Iverson, browsers, million, none of the above. What? Honestly, I think you're all talking a different language to me tonight. Kevin Iverson, Brewster's Millions. None of the above. Dale Steele, Pitt. I have no idea what that means. I literally have no idea. Dale Steele's laughing at his own gags, so I don't know what's going on. Leeds. Yes, Moyles was there then. Yes, Moyles was a spotty little Herbert when I knew him. He did the overnight. And he was such a precocious talent. I mean, he was funny. He was 16-year-old, didn't have a care in the world. Trying to work out whether I can tell you what I've just thought about. No, I think it might be better not to. Anyway, yes, he was there. He was there doing overnights while I was doing drive. Funny boy, funny boy. Philip Fraser, I feel for Sheffield United. They've had a traumatic week, losing a valued player from the women. Yes, sadly, that was. Hang on. Well, Siri appeared for no apparent. I've updated my iPhone to iOS 17. So if anything happens tonight, if anything goes wrong, if it goes a bit weird, I'm blaming Apple. Siri must be active, and I don't normally have Siri active because she's just appeared and done something weird to my screen. Anyway, where was I? Philip Fraser. Yes, there was they lost one of their valued players from the women's first team. Awful news. Awful news. And so young. Dale Steele. My favourite radio presenters were Mark and Laird. Oh, Fat Harry White. How cool was that? I mean, it was just very speed on the voice, but Fat Harry White, just, can you say that nowadays? I mean, it's 2023, you can't fat shame, but look, I met Barry White. It was a kind of play on Harry White and Barry White, and just fabulous. It's just a shame Mark and Laird not teamed up. Oh, Theo Bovril, let me get this. Hi, Adrian, which old DJ used to sign off his show saying, you be there, I'll be square, right be right, and a very good night? Oh, I've no idea. Honestly, the old Bovril, I've no idea. Have you Googled it? Do you know what I forgot tonight? I forgot me mug. I forgot me juice. Nick, when were you at BBC Hereford and Worcester, Adrian? I remember doing schoolwork experience there with Jane Garvey on breakfast. Nice, Nick. No, I was never there. The BBC stations I did were BBC Cumbria, Newcastle, Tees as it is now, or Cleveland as I always knew it, BBC Sheffield and Leeds. They once had a strike on, and the managers came to me and went, oh, Adrian, will you do a network thing? I said, yeah, all right, pay me, I'll do it. I didn't care, I was freelance. That's why they didn't like me. Tommy Boyd, loved him. Andy Turner, loved him. I think is he not on the South Coast doing the BBC? I'm sure Tommy's still broadcasting, or he was the last time I heard. And did you ever meet Andy Peebles? No, he was Lancashire and I was on the North East. Right, let me get stuck in to the live, because I know you want the money shots. You want stuff. Brand stuff, because you know there's been something in the Sunday Mirror today about brand. Or the geese. No, I didn't meet him. He was too far down. Exactly, Rusty Mouse. Where's me hibiscus liquor, Aid? She's on the phone. The missus can't hear me. I would scream, but You know, you might call me names if I start screaming like a girl for some hibiscus. So I wouldn't normally do... Sorry. Welcome to live number 28. The next live is this coming Wednesday, 8 o'clock. This coming Wednesday. I don't even know what... Yeah, 27th of September. This coming Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Leeds says, can we talk about XL bullies? I'm going to get straight into that in a moment. But I wanted to thank Rosalind Tucker for her super chat. Seemingly, there's this thing on YouTube. So I don't monetize these lives at all, because if I monetize it, I can't really say some stuff that I want to say during the lives. I'm just sort of establishing my credibility with you, so you know that I kind of get what goes on in the world. I've been doing phone-ins for, blimey, 30 odd years, 34 years. 1989 on TFM, when I started my first ever phone-in. So I just wanted to establish my credentials with you, because you don't or didn't know who I was, unless you'd listened to me on the radio previously. Blimey, Pound Shop Tracy, psychic. It's the $ under the chat window. Oh, right, didn't realise that. So I just wanted to thank Rosalind Tucker for her super chat. I think the super likes and super chat. So if you feel so inclined, I'm more than happy to accept it. Gratefully received and faithfully applied. So Rosalind Tucker, thank you for your super chat. She gave me that on Wednesday, and I just didn't have time during the live to say thank you. So thank you, Rosalind. Sean, are you an insider? You'll have been at air when the DJ went in the studio after the Christmas do and spewed at one on the desk. Honestly, I've got some stories that realistically I can't ever broadcast on here, because they would stop me. They would take me off YouTube. Yeah, paging Mrs. Allen. There, your devoted husband needs a cuppa of hibiscus. You're wronging. She won't. The Jacobite. I was watching The Damned United. Oh, what a movie, Jacobite. I was watching The Damned United yesterday. I know he's your hero. If you've seen the movie, what do you think of it? I didn't want that movie to stop. I didn't want it to stop. I just wanted to keep going. I was enthralled. I loved it. Absolutely. Martin Sheen just got him to a T. And the time that I had with Brian Clough, I had half an hour with him, just me and him talking about stuff, about Sunderland Football Club, about footy, about stuff. And it is one of the highlights of my life. Hang on. There's a ghost. Oh, my word. Do you see? Who was it that said, hang on, paging Mrs. Allen, Toker 69. Can I just say, that's why she's a keeper. That's why I married her. That's why I love you, darling. Oh, yeah, beauty. Right, I've got my juice. I'm fine. So the time that I had with Brian Clough, sitting down for, and it is one of the highlights of my life. Mind you, I said that just as the missus walked in the room. He told me about him and his time with Taylor, and one of his greatest regrets was that he and his oppo Taylor didn't make it up before he died. And I have to say, sitting with Brian Clough, literally, for me, sitting at the feet of God, he'd met the most famous people on the planet. And they say you're no more than 3 handshakes away from anybody in the world. I shook Brian Clough's hand. He's met Muhammad Ali, who was also one of my heroes. So I was only 1 handshake away from Muhammad Ali, but Brian Clough, just that Damn United, I could watch that 1,000,000 times and never be bored of it, because it was all about Brian Clough's relationship with Don Revie, the manager of Leeds United. And he was just a boy from Middlesbrough. And he said that, and I said to him, look, first words Brian Clough ever said to me, "Who do you think you are, son? Me?" And I roared with laughter. And I said, no, boss, there's only one of you. What's his line? Out of the top 2 football managers in the world ever, I'd be in the top 1. Something like that. So it's a wonderful quote. Adrian, who's the most famous person you have ever met? The Queen. And Philip and Andrew and Edward. Can't give you the circumstances, but probably the Queen. Oh, my lord, hang on. Do you think that was Queen Elizabeth the Great, Queen Elizabeth II going, "Oi, you're wrongin', take this," and she switched me lights off? Hang on, there's my other. That was really, really odd. That was, honestly, somebody said, don't, because I had a bit of an argument with Alexa a while back, and then Siri's at it tonight, and then somebody somewhere switched me lights off. Oh, that's really freaked me out now. If they go off again, right, I'm ending it. I'm going. I'm running. To start tonight, I wanted to sort of give you a flavour of. Oh no, Sarah Ann. My sister sat next to Muhammad Ali a few years ago on a flight from Australia to New Zealand. Wow, wonderful. Bob Paisley won more than most, but didn't get the recognition, the true recognition. I agree with you normally. I mean, he was, backroom Liverpool, and that's how they promoted through the football club. And so I don't normally do this. I don't do this ever. But I wanted to read out, there's a little troll that is not very bright. And you know that I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I just wanted to read this out. It's a guy called Andrew Dutton. Evening, you wrongin'. Just in case, I might give you my telephone number, because I'm not bad at spelling and I'm not bad at grammar. I think you might need a hand, Andrew. So I'm happy to do that for you. Because let's face it, the critical thinkers that love this channel, they're not as thick as shit like you. So, Andrew Dutton is giving you some wise and sage advice. He's saying, don't listen to this disgusting creature. This was a comment on one of my videos. Don't listen to this disgusting creature. Obviously, Andrew talks like that because he's quite posh. My hairy ass. His stories are all lies. Now, not to interject and ruin your flow, Andrew, but the actual video that he was commenting on saying that all my stories are lies was actually written by a journalist. It was the Russell Brand This Is Dark video. You won't find it because Andrew's doesn't have the courage of his convictions. He decided that he would pass this comment that I'm going to read to you so you can get an insight into what I deal with behind the scenes normally. And he decided to say that I tell lies. Now, there are some things you can water off a duck's back with, most things with me, but the one thing you can't call me is a liar. Because I'm not. And the story, Russell Brand This Is Dark, was actually, and the reason I read it was because it was a reportage. It had been through newspaper editors and it had been past the newspaper lawyers and legal department to put it in the newspaper, but everybody had missed it. And what I read out was the reporter's words. So Andrew, you caring, understanding 90s type, I don't tell lies at all. I was reading the truth. Bonny lad. And according to Andrew, I really am the lowest of the low. Thank you. I'm not that tall. I'll take that. He's borderline evil. He's a troll and stalker of Alex Belfield. So, Andrew, just tell me, what makes you think I'm a troll? And I'm stalking Alex Belfield. Are you for real, mate? And honestly, I'm using all of my self-control to not swear and let my Tourette's kick in, because I will be taken off air. I'm not stalking anybody, Bonnie lad. He was my friend. I know more about Alex Belfield than you know about yourself. I'm supporting trial by media, you odious vile man. Is that the best you've got, Andrew? Really? You left out Cliff Richard. No, I didn't. I made a bloody video about him. Feddy Star? Who's that? If that's the Queen, honestly, Your Majesty, don't, man. I'm in the middle. I think she's upset with me. Anyway, back to Andrew. Feddy Star. Who's Feddy Star, Andrew? Paul Gambikini. Who's he, Andrew? Johnny Depp. I've never mentioned Johnny Depp. Kevin Stacey. Who's Kevin Stacey, Andrew? All ruined with trial by media and innocent. The footballer's wife, Vardy. I bet you can't remember her first name. It's Rebecca, Andrew. And I think you'll find in a court of law, a judge decided. So, got nothing to do with me. That wasn't trial by media. She was found guilty in a court of law, mate. Can't do anything about that. People like you shouldn't be allowed near the internet, as you are filth. Well, let me tell you, Andrew, I shower at least once a day, sometimes 2 or 3 times, depending on who I'm meeting and what I'm doing. So I can't be filth, because I'm clean, all of me, even the undercarriage. Thoroughly washed. So man of his conviction, what has he done? He deleted the comment. Probably because he's spelling shite. And not that intelligent. So make sure, Andrew, that little trail that you leave when you wander about, you clean up after you. Fucking trolls. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? Oh, apologies, everyone. Apologies. Right, that's done. Let's get in, because now there's really juicy stuff going on, and we need to talk about it. Rich says he's got a bad spell check. I don't even think he knows how to use that. Andy Turner, too much info, thank you. And Pound Shop Tracy, is Andrew in a cupboard downstairs hiding in the fuse box? Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So somebody mentioned a lot earlier, and please keep the comments coming, because I review them afterwards. And tonight we really did have too much to get into the show. So I couldn't do the comments from Wednesday. There was loads and loads and loads of them. So please, if you can, hit the thummy thing, hit the likes, please, because it helps the channel. And Mark, you may be dyslexic. Go easy. Mark, always happy to do that. But the computer helps people with dyslexia. I have dyslexia in my family, so I understand it. But you don't go on the attack if you can't back it up. So, Andrew, you have the right to reply, Bonnie lad, but I doubt whether you will. Get XL bullies off the streets and the owners in prison. I agree completely with you, Leeds. So I'm going to ask you, what happened to the XL bully story? It was everywhere. And then, oh, look, Russell Brand. Nobody wants to do anything else. Nobody wants to report anything else. The newspapers have just gone brand-tastic. Still hasn't been charged. Although, I think tomorrow, it's really going to kick off. What happened to XL Bully? Let me tell you, there's been another guy attacked a 40-year-old man, Walworth, in London, mauled by an XL Bully. Nothing being done. There's the school kid. What's his name? Seven Bins Sunak. He's done nout. Absolutely naff all. Don Wigley, do you think the BBC have finished Adrian? Yep. BBC acknowledge that. Freely acknowledge it. They should definitely go to a Netflix model. 40-year-old man mauled by an XL bully. Now, here's something very interesting, and you need to keep your eyes on this. I'll give you the heads up. Hayden, 2012. Hi, Adrian. Evening, Hayden. Police armed officers, have the right to euthanize a dog out of control. They are allowed to do it. If it's a threat to other members of the public, they are allowed to euthanize dogs. So, sort of going off on a tiny little tangent, we have Metropolitan Police officers laying down their guns because one of their own has been charged with murder. That's not what you need to keep an eye on. The Ministry of Defence, and quite rightly, police officers have got it tight and have got it bad in today's society, especially firearms officers who have to explain to the nth degree what they do. And if somebody is either carrying a knife, which is a firearms offence, or someone is carrying a gun, which is also a firearms offence, those police officers have to deal with that. Not the shiny buttons in the officers sitting behind their desk going, oh, which brothel should we go to today? Now, obviously, that's not the Met, but I know of a police officer somewhere, and I'm not going to tell you where, that went to a brothel while he knew his men were doing plainclothes observations on the same brothel. How he got to be a high-ranking officer in any police services is beyond me, because obviously he's as thick as two short planks. But, Liz, pack it in, man. I've had Siri mess about with me. And now you... Hang on a second. Ugh. Honestly, I can't even say, it's a... I think that's what it is. Right, okay. I can't even say I'm a technophobe. Bloody ring lights. So what I need you to keep an eye on is this. The Ministry of Defence have offered the Metropolitan Police Service soldiers. So what that means, if you're not quite getting it or you're up to speed, that would mean armed soldiers on the streets of this country. That would mean soldiers armed on the streets of our capital city. Do you know the last time that happened? Winston Churchill, the Liberals, beginning of last century, turned the guns on his own people. Winston Churchill. Everybody forgets about that. So the MOD have offered the Metropolitan Police Service soldiers. To do what exactly? Oh, it just gets... I don't know whether these people that sit in offices are actually that bright. You can't put soldiers on the streets of this country, let alone the capital city. All right, if we've got a big event like, the Queen's funeral or the coronation, I get all that. I get it. But because armed officers have laid down their guns because of the way one of their own is being treated by the brass upstairs, charged with murder. The day we have soldiers armed on the streets of this country, hang on a second, I'm just gonna mess about with me technical stuff. Right, I may go dark. I was going to say it may go. No, there you go. Right, I'm going to switch this off. That's what it is. Oh, this is going to be fun because the very thing that I need for a light is my phone, and I'm using my phone. Right, that was that one. Right, Liz, pack it in. I get what you're saying. I understand completely. I'm just speaking truth. It will be a sad day if the Metropolitan Police Service take the soldiers. Pound Chop Tracy, can we all super chat a quid for the meter? Yeah. Maggie T sent in the SES more than once. Well, Alan, you say that. Where did she send the SAS? That would be interesting if you could tell me. The Umerian Mame. What's wrong with a low-tech light? Got any candles? I can't. Honestly, I'd have to go for a wander half an hour. You know what it's like when the lights go off? This ever happened to you? The lights go off and you go, oh, we need candles. Where's the candles? Lecky's gone off. Oh, I don't know. Did we buy some about 20 years ago and put them in a cupboard somewhere? Yeah. So no, I'm not putting candles on because honestly, I'd burn the house down. It's just my luck. Rich, Iranian embassy, of course. Yes, of course. Thatcher stole my milk and mine. Alan, Ireland. Nope. SAS didn't go into Ireland. Didn't go into Northern Ireland. They didn't. Categorically. Yeah, they were used to storm a prison and take a prison back, but the SAS were never in Northern Ireland. Jacobite, did you see Andrew Sachs' granddaughter forgiving and defending Brand? Oh, yes, I did. Despite Saxgate putting her on suicide watch, she's a more forgiving person than I am. No, she's in the press. She's in the press this morning. Nice big double page spread that she got paid for. So now you know why she's defending Brand. She's making a few bob. Amber Eyes torches are widely available. Oh, thank you very much. I'm sat at home. Where am I going to get one of those from? 4 candles. Brilliant leads. So just keep an eye open because I'm not sure. I mean, it's like the 5 spies. Now, I can't talk about 5 Russian spies. I can't really talk about that because they're about to be charged. So the case is active. The government's obviously in the reportage that I've seen in the press today. It sounds really panicky. The press is saying no. There's 5 of them: a 31-year-old woman, 3 blokes, 31-year-old woman, and a 29-year-old woman, and the printing the pictures of the 29-year-old woman because she's like a beautician or something. Good-looking girl, but we can't talk about it. Can you send me a cake with a file in it? If I ain't, no, I'm not. It's sub judice. They can have a fair trial, but there's loads of Russians kind of being done. The stuff that I've read today in the newspapers. PJC Net regarding Brand, never liked him, but until there's more information, we can't possibly know whether he's guilty of the accusations or not. Let me just get through a couple of stories that I want to mention to you because it's kind of giving you the heads up. Because VK2 OMG. Oh, well, we're all on Christmas, not long now. I think it was this week. It was 100 days to Christmas. Not that I'm rubbing that in, 100 days. I also want to talk about what happened to the aero concrete. Remember that story? It was everywhere. Every building, we're all going to die. Every building in the United Kingdom has got aero concrete. It's going to kill all the kids. You can't go to hospital because all the hospitals are made of it. Even Parliament. Well, no, I'm exaggerating. But it was in every newspaper that there was this concrete that wasn't fit for purpose, aero concrete, that all the buildings were just going to fall down. Where's the reporting of that gone? Sounded like, according to the mainstream media, we were all going to die. It was going to kill everybody in the United Kingdom. Every house, every home, every building, every office was all going to collapse. They're not even reporting it now. Was it just a money-making scheme? Do these clowns in Clown World, in the Pink Palace, do they go, oh, right, if we tell them all the buildings are falling down, right, we can make a few million out of this? Ask Michelle Moan. Where's the PPE, Michelle? Sorry, where's the 28, 29 million pounds, Michelle? And Keir Starmer, the utter wrong'un. He's so close to getting power, and he's almost screwed it up. Why? Well, you've got Suella Braverman and you've got little schoolboy, rich boy, Sunak, who I just feel like he should be wearing a school cap. I mean, has he taken his GCSEs yet? He couldn't even make it as a jockey. He's so small. Jockeys are bigger than him. Don't care about me. He's got a billionaire missus. I wouldn't swap for £1 trillion. So have the migrant boats stopped? Because Keir Starmer has said, and remember, this online safety bill, I will not be allowed to use the 2 words illegal immigrant. I won't. Not sure that I can get away with economic migrant, because technically that's what they are. Keir Starmer said he would allow 100,000 immigrants in per year. So it's like the floodgates are going to open. Why? Because he'll say, oh, it was only 99,000 this year. How do you know, Keir? He's going to allow 100,000 in per year, 52 weeks. So what's that? Fair few every week. He's not going to stop it. He doesn't want to stop it. Why do all these politicians not want to protect our borders? Why do they not want to protect we English? Why do they not want to protect and lead us? Because they're not leaders. They're just crooks. They're just after the money. The greater good, what's that? Getting money for the politicians. It's like somebody asked, there was one of the American politicians, they were on $173,000 per year and they'd amassed $3 million in the bank. So how did they work that out? How did that happen on 173 grand a year? Look at all these politicians. Some of them are complaining of migraines and are shuffling off. I think they know that the global agenda is pretty much sorted. So they don't need to do anything. So they made a few bob. Do you know that if you serve 2 terms as an MP, just 2 terms, that's 8 years, just 2 terms, however high you make it up the greasy pole, that's your pension for life. So if you become Prime Minister, rich boy, he's going to get the Prime Minister's wage as his pension for life. So anybody else that's a backbencher, even if they're earning like, I don't know, they can pull the missus in and the missus will get secretarial wage. They can work it so that and if they're on loads of committees, they can literally make hundreds of thousands. And then when they leave, that's their pension. I mean, at the back end of the 90s, they decided that, Norman Taylor, Gary Lineker will have them. Is his house big enough? Back in the late 90s, the politicians awarded themselves 25 grand cash in their pension. And then, hang on a second. And they could take that 25 grand bonus for their pension in cash. I bet they did. Shysters. So what's happened to the Aero Concrete? What's happened to the XL Bully story when a guy was mauled in London yesterday and it made a little column inch right in the back of one of the Sunday newspapers? They've got Russell Brand. They've got a target. They've got him in the crosshairs. Don't need XL Bullies. So the reason why I mentioned police officers euthanizing dogs, if I was in charge, I would basically say, I'm not interested in whether it's a bad owner or not. That dog is a weapon. Euthanize it on site. You have my permission. Euthanize it on site. And it goes for any other dangerous dog that's not muzzled. If it's in public, clear the space, euthanize it. And then we'll talk to the owner. Because some of the breeders are saying, just sell them to drug dealers. But then again, the police only police our community and our society by permission. But I would give them the powers, euthanize on site. It's a weapon. It's not a family pet. And also ask yourself this question. Why do they want to keep ramping up the Russia-Ukraine war? Is it because America? Because, look, I think it's about 60% of America's GDP, gross domestic product, is arms or armaments related. I don't know whether it's up or down from that number. But America only does well domestically when they're making money from war. So why is Sleepy Joe? Have you seen him lately? Oh, by the way, here's a prediction for you. He's going to stand down in October because they want Kamala Harris, VP, up to big prez. I mean, it's all going to kick off in America. Sleepy Joe is literally, he's a laughingstock around the world. Oh, Colin, you're wrong. So there's a prediction for you. So my dear friend, Scotty McClue's in the house. Dinky do, Scotty. And Scotty was in touch today and he said, Adrian, have a look at this. I was thinking, what's Scotty up to? Dougie, the convicted stalker, at it again, ringing Scotty a couple of years ago. When all the legal case, Scotty sent me, and thank you, Scotty. I will use that. So we have examples of Dougie the convicted stalker ringing in Lee, the BBC in the East Midlands, and ringing Scotty McClue on his phone in. Brilliant. And go across to Scotty and subscribe. I think he's probably live streaming tonight as well. So go and have a look. He's a genius. Top man, phone and presenter. One of the very, very, very best ever. Thank you, Scotty. So who's making the money? Russia versus Ukraine. Who's making the money? The Biden family? Hunter? Are we ever going to see the contents of his laptop? It's being charged. Gun possession. Is that it? Mark Croft says, dinky do, Scotty. Wow. Ramping up, may I remind you, Putin started it in the first place, only hitting civilians. Boy, are you not getting the game? So, let's talk about the Wagner Group. Look at the Wagner Group. CIA gave them $6.2 billion to chase Putin, get Putin out of office. Now, Putin left wherever he was, which was not too far from the Wagner Group, and he made it back to St. Petersburg, which is really odd because the Wagner Group's headquarters is in St. Petersburg. Did you not smell something fishy? I did. So, Prigozhin, who was leading the Wagner Group, has got $6.2 billion in his trouser pocket. So what happened? He disappeared. Putin's disappeared. Have you not seen Vladimir Putin? No. Have you seen Prigozhin, the head honcho of the Wagner Group? No. And then all of a sudden, the Russians say, so look, if it was Putin's chef, that's Prigozhin. If you're Putin's chef and you say to young Vladimir, here, Vlad, look, I've got 6.2 billion from the CIA. Can we go halves? I'll take 3.1 billion, you take 3.1 billion, it'll be fine. I'm off to South America, I'll have some plastic surgery, so don't rule like that at all. They'll never find me in a month of Sundays. They never found Hitler, so they'll never find me. I've got $3.1 billion. And then the Russians go, oh, he's died in a plane crash. Wow. And people went, oh, okay. And the Russians went, we'll give you the evidence. He's died in a plane crash. And the whole world went, oh, okay. And then the CIA went, hang on. We gave them $6.2 billion. He's died in a plane crash. Right, make the Wagner Group terrorists. We're going to deem the Wagner Group is a terrorist organisation. I mean, can you imagine what the CIA are doing? They are so brassed off that they've lost $6.2 billion of taxpayers' money in America and nobody's asking questions. How insane is that? Prigozhin's in South America somewhere having plastic surgery as we speak in a plane crash. My hairy backside. I don't believe that in a month of Sundays. Where's the $6.2 billion that the CIA gave him? He didn't chase Putin. So all this stuff that goes on in the newspapers, are you believing that? Wow. Who's going to win the Umarian meme? America. Crime family. Biden. They're winning every which way. Every which way. So don't forget, keep an eye on the reportage. The 5 alleged Russian spies, 3 men, 2 women. So, Russell Brand. So I gave you me big reveal. Scotty was in the house. Good to see you. He sent me that audio clip, which we'll play you. And it's undoubtedly Dougie. It's undoubtedly Dougie. Don Wigley, following on from my previous question, how long do you think the BBC have? Hang on a second. I don't know what that... Oh, thank you. Have Dr. Allen. I reckon they've got between 5 and 10 years, if that. Because what's coming up, there's a load of local BBC presenters have been gotten rid of. They had to reapply for their jobs. Some of my friends managed to keep their jobs, but other friends didn't. So now they've come out into the real world and are having to... December 2027. Very clever. Yeah, Stuart or Andy, who called Ian Lee. Yep. So let's get to Russell Brand, because there's some... I need to give you the money shot. Blimey, are we 50 minutes in? Wow. Daily Mirror today ran an exclusive article. They said, the comedian was accused of touching girls beneath his cloak of love. Mainstream media, are they desperate for the next silver bullet? Are they desperate to get rid of the vampire? Do they want to put a cross through his chest? Just the one story, just like nothing. I mean, and the Sun on... Where is it? Sun on Sunday. I needed to tell you this. So, on the front page of the Sun on Sunday, can you see that? It says, Brand faced sex quiz by cops. And I was like, where did they get that from? Blimey. So it's on page 8 and 9. This is why I buy the newspapers every day, because sometimes you miss it. So, this story, can you see that? I can't see what I'm doing, so I can't see whether you're seeing or not. Brand's sex quiz by cops 9 years ago. And then they go to the other page. It's a double page spread. And there was an ex-girlfriend talking about him eating custard and wearing weird socks and not being great boyfriend material. So that was a 2-page spread. And they said on the front, exclusive. And it's not. This is a story that's about a week old. It's the story where his ex-girlfriend was married to Imran Khan, Jemima Khan. His ex-girlfriend paid a masseur 500 quid to go over to their house. And the masseur said he did stuff. Well, both Brand and Jemima Khan denied it and said, no, we didn't. She's just at it. We paid her 500 quid for him to have a massage for his birthday. So this story in the Sun on Sunday is a week old. We read this story elsewhere a week ago. And yet the Sun are printing it today, Murdoch's papers, as an exclusive on the front page, saying Brand faced sex quiz by cops. Well, of course, the police were involved. They went, and no, it was NFA'd. No further action. Nothing. Nothing was done about it, because Jemima Khan and Russell Brand were straight up and down. It was the masseur that was at it. She said, treated me like a hugger. The masseur said he touched her. They didn't find any evidence of anything. It was her word against his. The scum. They've taken that article from a week ago, regurgitated it with a couple of pictures and maybe some quotes from a couple of people, and they filled 2 pages. Paul Flynn just said he'd get full marks at the sex quiz. Brilliant, Paul. Brilliant. Yes. Digger Murdoch is retiring. 92, 93. Wasn't he going to get married? So they ran it as an exclusive. Are they looking for this silver bullet? Because it looks like the mainstream media want to open the floodgates. They want him done. And they want something, someone, somewhere to open the floodgates. So Brussels, so the other in the Mirror today, which is an exclusive, but they didn't front page it, they didn't splash it. It's kind of buried in the newspaper somewhere that Russell Brand was expelled after a year at the Italia Conte Performing Arts School for breaching its code of conduct. And it was said to be related to drug taking and truancy. So they kind of made the story that Brand was expelled after a year. Italia Conti, it's seen as one of the stage schools. It's one of the premier stage schools. And he was expelled for breaching its code of conduct. But it was nothing to do with his cloak of love. I mean, they are going to investigate it. But there's a lot of supposition, rumour, finger pointing, but actually nothing. If there is anything illegal, then let the process of law take place. But as it stands today, there's a lot of, Kevin, no way. There's an audio lag. That's because there was sorry about that. Hopefully it'll pick up again. That's because somebody called me while I was doing this. In fact, next time I'll switch the phone off. So I'm going to make a prediction for you. I'm full of them tonight. Watch out for Biden stepping down, ill health, October, Kamala Harris becoming the first. Oh, can you imagine Hillary Clinton's face, man? She will be apoplectic with rage. She wanted to be the first female president of the United States, and it looks like the VP, Kamala Harris, is going to have to step up because Sleepy Joe, he's not up to the job. He might press the button by mistake. It's back in sync. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. So here's my prediction for you. Dame Caroline Dinenage, and the government, they're not going to be happy with Rumble tomorrow. I don't know what Russell's going to say. I don't know what he's going to do, but they will not be happy with him. Why won't they be happy with him? Because he's got free speech. He's a free man. There's been nothing level at him, unless he knows something and people are still digging, and something may come to the fore. But as I said, and I will reiterate, if anything illegal has taken place, then let the process of law take place. But if not, what they're going to do, now you know that Rumble is banned in France. The French can't access Rumble. They can't. I have a friend that told me. So what they're going to do, I will guarantee you, because they're based in the States and the laws are slightly different, the same but slightly different. Oh yeah, in Zaire, Rumble in the jungle. What they will do, these politicians are crooked, you've got to remember that. It's about power. So, if Rumble don't play the game, they'll ban it in this country. They will ban it. They will get all the ISPs, the internet service providers, they'll get them all together and say, right, yo lot, ban it. Oh, what do you mean? Look at the online safety bill. They can start and make it really, really nasty for the ISPs and the big tech companies, up to £18 million or 10% of their global turnover. So they can make it very, very uncomfortable for the big tech. And big tech might have to kowtow to politicians who say, right, it might be Labour by next May. It could be Labour that say and do the same global agendaist. His wife's in the lead. Behave. Kirsty Gallagher's sister. Bernard Gallagher's daughter. Great golfer. Didn't realise he was in the elite. Or was that a new rock band? So I'm telling you, if the politicians get a bit brassed off, they'll ban it. So his two videos, the one that kind of announced it before it hit the newsstands in the media, has had 2.3 million views in a week. And the one on Friday, So This Is Happening video, has had 2.3 million views. And the one on Friday, has had 1.8 million views since Friday. So, and a lot of people are saying, oh, they've, YouTube have banned him. No, they haven't banned him. They have, for the moment, demonetized him. Now, they, as I've said in the live on Wednesday, they demonetized Russell before. So it must have been a 90-day ban. And that's why Russell went over to Rumble initially. And the reason why YouTube demonetized him was because they said that he had broadcast misinformation. Now, the information that he broadcast was from CNN in America. So the news channel CNN had broadcast this information. Russell had taken it as gospel and rebroadcast it, and then YouTube went, no, misinformation, so we're demonetizing you. But he was monetized a week or so ago. The Jacobite, would you run for Parliament, Adrian, to stop the madness? I'm not deviant enough. I'd be too straight up and down. They'd flatten me. But yes, of course. Oh, I'd love the game. I would love the game. Jab Atkinson. YouTube are trying to break Rumble. Mike Alligators. Hi, Adrian. Hope you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I've got me hibiscus tea that my darling wife was very kind to bring me. So I want to go to your will probably Pallion. Wonderful, Dane. So I'm going to do your comments. It may take me another 10 or 12 minutes or so, because some of the comments are wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I know that I've got wonderful critical thinkers. I know we're just a small band of brothers and sisters, but we have critical thinkers here who are very, very sharp. When are they going to cut Elm Guest House? Hey, kitty, kitty. Hey, kitty, kitty. I've no idea when that's going to come out. It might be when he passes or afterwards. But the Elm Guest House, it's in the guest book. Yeah, kitty, kitty. So I really do want to do some of your comments on the videos. And remember, two things. One, if you can hit the like button, it really helps the channel. And two, please, 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 comment away. Just give me your thoughts and your takes on, whether it's XL bullies or whether it's the mainstream media not doing the concrete story anymore, or whether it's the war and the Americans trying to escalate the Russia-Ukraine war and Britain sending them missiles that was used recently, and Russell Brand. Now, we can't say whether Russell Brand is guilty or innocent. That is only for a court of law to decide. Only. Not you and I, not opinion, supposition. It is for courts to decide. And at the moment, there is no involvement. There is no legal involvement. So Emma L says, Adrian, there are a lot of similarities here between Brand and Belfield. Both are highly manipulative, like to use intimidation tactics, are litigious and like to threaten people with litigation. They can also be charming in order to fool people and to get what they want. Belfield also contacted the parents of one of his victims in order to intimidate. I suspect Brand is a narcissist too, and he and Belfield are cut from the same cloth and employ similar dark methods in order to silence other people. That was from the Russell Brand This Is Dark video, where I told you the story of a journalist that was that had an inside scoop on Russell Brand and Katy Perry going to a relationship counsellor before they got married. And Russell was trying to find out who told this reporter. And somebody somewhere, I'm not alleging anything, somebody somewhere had a thug go round to the parents of the person that told and gave the journalist the information. I'm standing here with your mother. As I said on the other live, that on the video. That's the kind of stuff you see in gangster movies and the old news of the world. Thank you, Emma. The Bovril. Under pressure from all this, will Brand start to name names of those similar that are part of the establishment? There's already been a name mentioned today by someone. But as I say, due to legal reasons, I can't mention it because we don't know whether it's true or not. But another comedian has been named as a predator today, and the female has told the story. Can't do it on the live, but I will try and find a way of getting that to you. Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. To Gordon Caledonia. Gordon's been commenting on lots of videos and brilliant comments. Thank you, Gordon. Billy Connolly confronted him once. That's Russell Brand. That says it all. Brand is a wrong and degenerate. So if Billy's going to have a word with you, he's not going to step up and chin you, but he's from the Weege. He's from Glasgow. They don't mess about in Glasgow. Thank you, Gordon. Mike Lane, excuse me, can you clarify for me? Are you suggesting that the McCanns, misspelt, are guilty with their daughter's disappearance, apart from leaving her in bed whilst they ate at a tapas bar? Please tell me your thoughts and your conspiracy as to why, if any. Mike, I'm just simply going to say this. They won't win Parent of the Year awards, will they? Imagine if they hadn't left their child alone, their child might still be here. That's all I've got to say. PFDR Tom, or is it PF Dr. Tom? We don't know if he did it or not. This is Russell Brand. He might have, he might not have. I don't know this. A person is innocent until proven guilty. Of course, that's what I've said to you. If anything illegal has happened, then let the process of law take place. Pancho Puskas, 1. The flashing incident in the bathroom is something Brand openly brags about. To be honest, if that were my wife, girlfriend, daughter, I wouldn't be going to the police. I'd probably be doing 6 months for GBH. Fully agree. I mean, are we now in a different time, in a different place where we're looking for decency from other people? We're looking for integrity from other people. And those that are famous, that we've allowed to become or supported to become, enabled, if you wish, that we only accept integrity, decency, and better behaviour from our celebs. Panshop Tracy, it's one of your videos last you uploaded. Thank you. PJC Net, if people take a side now without information about Brand and they're proven wrong, it can undermine what you say after that. Best not to take a side yet. I'm not. I'm basically saying, if all this reportage, if the police do not have anything, that they can go to the Crown Prosecution Service and let the Crown Prosecution decide whether it would be in the public interest or a conviction could be sought. CPS won't back it, but let the process of law take place. If there is anything illegal, let the process of law take place. And if not, let him rumble on. Comic Mania, exactly, Adrian. I've been comparing this to the Savile debacle since these Saint Brand allegations broke some days ago, being shouted down by his bully boy fans on YouTube and other media. That, think, the sun shines out of his derriere. I'm not having any of it. I never found him funny. Always saw him as crass and crude and rude to other people, better than him. Doesn't make him guilty, of course. Let the CPS take its course. But if he ends up in a cell with Belfield, I shan't give two hoots. Thank you, Comic Mania. Fer de Lance, why hasn't Russell gone into litigation against these accusers? Surely he's got the finances. Oh, the lawyers and the barristers will be rubbing their hands. Gordon Caledonia again. He's notorious for setting his lawyers on people. Oh, yeah. There's some stuff we can't really mention. BG Anonymous. Anybody noticed how many people feel the need to say they don't like Brand just before they say he isn't guilty? Not that I'm suggesting that it's his followers or that a bot army could have been employed to influence public opinion. Just saying. To Rosemary Kennedy, Schofield was paying 30 grand a month to a damage control PR team. Brand's subscriptions have increased, yet his views have dropped. Could it be his PR team banging the subscription button? He can't recover from this because he did have an intimate relationship with a 16-year-old at age 30 and, by his own admission, exposed himself to at least one strange woman. It's not about court, police or guilt. He's simply no longer attractive to most people. Rosemary Kennedy, excellent point, well made, thank you. Ian Gascoigne, it's funny, I don't recall many people saying innocent until proven guilty when it was Pip Schofield. Ian, I think you'll find he admitted it. Philip Schofield admitted it. It was not illegal, but unwise. Or was it unwise, but not illegal? And then you've got Hugh Edwards. Admitted it. There was lots of scurrilous rumour. There was lots of... remember, you had famous BBC presenters being named and going, whoa, hang on a second, that's not me. And they were letting them, they were literally feeding to the wolves. They were allowing these famous BBC presenters, whom I don't need to name, you already know who they are. He was going to let them take the fall for him. But then he admitted it. So Schofield, Edwards admitted it. Lucy Kelly, apparently he's made a lot of enemies over the years, so people don't like him. But liking someone isn't a reason to protect them from the law. I agree, Lucy. Needs to go in front of the CPS. If there's any evidence, let the process of law take place. If not. Now, I looked at Brand's views on Friday for his video. And it was standing at about 97, 100,000, which is, you know, for little channels like mine, that's huge numbers. But then the Americans kicked in and the Americans were watching it and it went up to 1 million. So it's his 6-odd million people are, I would say, predominantly American. Because a lot of the stuff he was broadcasting was about America and American politics and American names. From Ian Gascoigne in response to Lucy's message, unfortunately it's true, hence why people are either excusing Brand or denying the accusations are true. It is especially true in America. Trump has been accused by more than 30 women of sexual assaults of varying degrees, yet the MAGA wing nuts think he's innocent. Yet if the same accusations were made against Biden, they'd believe them. As to my point about Philip Schofield, I also don't recall people saying innocent until proven guilty about Hugh Edwards either. That's because they both admitted it. Once they've admitted it, nothing illegal, so we're told. John Drizzle says, man, a few words. Thank you, John. Bill Wyman and Mandy Smith. I remember that. 13-year-old. But they say nothing happened until she was 16 and illegal. So, again, rumour and supposition, but nothing concrete. We're back to buildings falling down again. Pink Roses. As much as people don't like trial by social media and the press, it does play an important part, and we wouldn't know half of what these people who are admired, trusted, or looked up to get up to. Russell is a product of very bad parenting and upbringing, a bit like Alex. That's Alex Belfield. Sorry, Dougie. Russell's father used prostitutes and introduced them to him when he was only a teenager. He was abused himself and went on to abuse others. He's also abused animals. He's had a very bad start in life. Therefore, there's no wonder he's turned out the way he is. He's a known psychopath. Of course, abuse doesn't affect everyone the same. My male friend was repeatedly raped whilst in childcare, but hasn't gone to abuse others, although obviously it has affected him in other ways. There's no doubt that Russell... No, you can't say that, Pink Roses. But I do feel that they're trying to take him down. I just wish women would go to the police there and then after being abused, but I know it's not always easy or possible for them. In other news, what do you think of Alex stalking his victims, including Philip Dehaney from prison via mail to his fans, trying to get revenge for jail time, maybe? Surprised the law and prison allows this. Wow. I didn't know that, Pink Roses. I will say that I was at court in Nottingham for one of the judge's orders to say that he couldn't contact. And I did say to you that not only was it broadcast, but it's written material. So I'm very surprised that the judge in the case didn't make sure that there couldn't be any written material or broadcast or it beggars belief. Emma, in response to Pink Roses regarding Belfield's letters from jail to his fans, Philippa said that the restraining orders to protect the victims don't cover private handwritten letters. So Belfield can continue to manipulate his fans from his jail cell and say what he likes about his victims in letters to his fans. The restraining orders are not worth the paper they're written on and makes a mockery of the court. Absolute madness. I agree, Emma. I agree wholeheartedly. Lover of Rock, 707. Adrian, video. Russell Brand signs on the Mateus Lucas channel. I think Crossroads movie, 1986. Lover of Rock, I did check it out. Some of it's not accurate. Definitely not accurate. But an interesting video nevertheless. Russell Brand signs, Mateus Lucas channel. Lucy Kelly, justice in the UK has been bad for a long time. Few police complaints are upheld. Only one was in AD 2019. Fewer than 1% of rape cases get a conviction, apparently. Police still laugh at paedophilia as a children's crime. They only solve 3% of burglaries. Now the public's efforts to disprove or to be vigilantes are the only thing left to them. Things were better just 15 or so years ago in some ways, like with the burglaries. The government may be trying to make us demand more control so they can control us more. I'll tell you something. Go back to 2011, 2012, when Theresa May was Home Secretary. Her husband was a shareholder in G4S. And what they were trying to do, in my view, my humble opinion, was break the police up and have G4S take a lot of the policing on, the periphery, not necessarily the patrols or not necessarily the policing with criminals, but a lot of the periphery that the police do. And then we had the 2012 Olympics where G4S gubbed up royally. And there's been no talk of it since. But if you think about it, if you want to have a globalist agenda run from Brussels by the Europeans, you need to have control of the army and you need to have control of the policing. So you need to break up the police. And the police are getting a kicking every which way you look at it. Every which way. And that's just not on. Because a lot of people go into policing to actually benefit their community and benefit their locale and benefit for the greater good. Obviously, there are some bad apples, but you've got the Met, the biggest police force in the country, second only to, just ahead of Police Scotland. So just remember, 2030 agenda, if they want a globalist agenda, they have to break down the NHS. You will have to take insurance. They will break down the army and they will break down the police. So you'll have feral kids on the streets. Look at knife crime in London. That's never talked about, is it? Mayor Khan. Carnage. Eileen Newport, Adrian, this has nothing to do with what Russell Brand has done right or wrong. This is all to do with Russell calling out these scumbags on what they've been allowed to take and do to the people of this country. And millions of us should be out there fighting for it. Expecting others to do it for you? Remember, people gave their lives for these freedoms and the majority are allowing them to be taken from us. Shame on us. Alistair Cameron, I don't care about anything Brand. He can perform on any media platform. I won't see it. I'm only seeing it because I follow you. Thank you, Alistair. Jabba the Chat, reminder that Brand had 8 days prior to publication to respond to the rape and sexual assault allegations. Time he could have also used to get someone like Carter Ruck to get an injunction against a few people, but he didn't. My TV, did he learn that directly from Savile, who also used to send goons in to intimidate? Thank you. Patricia Angeles, I'm absolutely not a fan of the guy. He always seemed sleazy to me. However, he never denied he was a womanizer and everyone found it amusing. Women, including my daughter, would line up to see him. Zaros, Never did like Brand from the moment he stepped foot in front of the camera, but my dislike of him doesn't influence me into thinking he's either guilty or not guilty. That's up for a jury to decide. If this pantomime is ever played out in the arena of a courtroom, I'm personally quite aware of how lies can destroy a life. Far too aware, and that's why I won't pass judgment on someone I do not personally know. Thank you, Zaros. Hugh Forrest, not many to go, not far away. Hugh Forrest was a bit disappointed he didn't mention the allegations, but he looked really deflated. That's in his video on Friday night. His heart wasn't in it. Freedom awaits. Good actor, Russell. Classic controlled op. Popcorn. The Social Network. Another Belfield. John Legend, absolutely disgusting. It's all about allowing the government, the police, to do what the hell they like, and we won't be allowed to oppose it. Online safety bill. Government loves you. They're going to make sure that nobody hurts you. Nobody says bad things. Online safety bill. But you have to wait, because I'm going to read out a wonderful comment from somebody who's seen well through the game. John Legend. I've just done that one. Stephen Hall, surprises me how so many people don't about this. I call it the censorship bill. Interesting, Stephen. Hope Forrest lose. I think their intention is the opposite of what you stated. Michelle Donnellan said it would apply to posting videos of people crossing the channel which show that activity in a positive light. She should be quite happy with your narrative. The real scare story of this bill is the attempt to break into encrypted messaging apps. So you won't be able to say anything to your mates. Or the 33 tattoo. Yeah, you've got 33 vertebrae. Don't you know that? Kundalini energy. Listen, I could regale you with stuff that would possibly blow your mind. But because he's got a 33 tattoo. Paul, how are you, man? He's got 33 vertebrae. And the body's an amazing thing. Amazing thing. Ailey Blackmore. As most of you know who read my posts, I've been watching a bit of 70s, 80s action movies like Death Race 2000, Rollerball, The Running Man and Total Recall. And I've come to the conclusion that filmmakers were, at the time they made these movies, were trying to tell us something. I feel that the real power behind government don't want us using DVDs, reading books or CDs. They want us to use streaming services so they can retrospectively change the written word and in some cases erase the past. I'm 54 years old and I'm sorry to say I'm glad I'm of my age. I wouldn't want to be the young person in this modern world. Keep up the good work, Adrian. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, AD. Look after yourself, big lad. And Nikki Watson, final comment here. I know Russell Brand was a smokescreen. Funky Prepper talked about this bill going through a few months ago. This country needs to wake up and get rid of this government. And the next one, they're all the same. Different cheeks of the same arse. God help us while we watch this once great country go down the pan. They've all got their snouts in the trough. Bless them. So the next live is Wednesday. We've currently got 200 people watching, so if you could hit the like, that would be wonderful. That would be very much appreciated. Next live Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I do have the brand new Mrs. Allen's birthday coming up, so I'll tell you the live before, but there's definitely a live this coming Wednesday and the next Sunday, hopefully. And the Wednesday after there won't be. I've got to be the dutiful husband. I want to take her somewhere nice and treat her like a lady. So next two are in place. Please hit the likes. And was there anything else? No, I think what I'm going to have to do is there's so many great comments, insightful comments on the videos. I'm going to make some videos over the next couple of days with just those comments. Look after yourself. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for the likes. Keep hitting it. Smash it, as someone once said. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions. Ding the bell so you know when the next video is coming. But most of all, thank you for your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. You're wrong. I'll see you Wednesday at 8. More videos coming tomorrow and every day now. Just don't forget the Battenberg.